All right, welcome to today's daily vlog, and today what I'm going to be discussing is just basically stating that not all learning has to come through a book or a podcast or a video. So something that I struggled with is that, I always had this impression that, I had to read from the book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had to, if I wanted to get better and I wanted to educate myself and, kind of progress my ability as a coach, it had to come from something physical. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had to, get the newest book, or listen to the newest podcast. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying those things are bad, right? Like, I try to do that as much as I can, and I could do it more. But what I've started to find is that, the information that you can get from the response, direct response of what's actually happening in reality, that can be basically sometimes more useful than what you read in the book. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like whatever you're reading the book, you're going to try to fit that, or whatever you hear on a podcast, whatever you see in a video, you're going to try to fit that into your reality or your environment. And you have to see what the response is to that change or that action or that implement. And then you have to make your decision based upon that, while also understanding all the complex factors around whatever you're trying to implement. The reason I'm getting to this point, is that don't be discouraged if you don't read something every day that's training specific, okay? Because I really had this thought in my head that if I didn't read something that was training specific, then I didn't get any better that day. You know what I mean? I feel like I didn't progress as a coach. Well, I still think it's important to read every day, but I honestly think it's also good to have some variability in what you read by not just reading things about physical training. Honestly, the leadership, mental, and just life in general, learning about those kinds of things and how to just be in a better, efficient human, learning about what successful people do. I think that is just important as stuff to read. And I think it's a little bit easier to read too sometimes, right? Because it's sometimes you can only, read so much biomechanics or read so much, about a different exercise. And again, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying it's good to switch it up and, just being able to, be content with how your day went and be content with your knowledge and your progress and whatever it may be. Understanding that not all knowledge comes from a book. Knowledge comes from everything. Everything really is a learning experience, even if it's a success, even if it's a negative, even if it's indifferent. Just you implementing a different warm-up, that could be huge in what you do, in that you know what I mean, and you even emphasizing trying to learn about, okay, today I heard this cue, I'm gonna try out this cue and see what happens, and then you can try it out with a couple people, and next thing you know, it works great, or it doesn't look great, that went terrible, you know what I mean. You have to you can really formulate that, you can learn from that, you know what I mean. You can learn from learn more about your athlete as a person. One of the good things, one thing I've learned is it's about the person in front of your program has to form fit who's in front of you, and that's just not from a physical. That's not just physically. That's personality, who they are. You know what I mean? What things they enjoy, what things they don't enjoy. Because at the end of the day, it's let's just say, for example, back squatting is a must, right? But if you can't, if your athlete hates it or gives no effort in it, it doesn't matter whether it's a good exercise or not. It doesn't matter. You need to find a way to get them to perform things even if they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? You have to level with them and build a relationship with them first, that they understand that this is important. So again, all my point is coming back to is that it's more than just about the physical exercises, right? You have to know all those things, don't get me wrong. And you're going to be a better coach if you know more about that. That's your job. But your job is also to be able to communicate with who's in front of you. And that's part of the learning process. Learn about that stuff as well. Brett Bartholomew is great on speaking on that. If you're interested, go look up that. Go look up conscious coaching. He's great on that. Other than that, have a good night.